She said, "Shut the fuck up and let me live." Child, I was stunned that she said that, but I don't blame her. So I had a client this morning, and she came in, sat in the chair, and we got to talking, and her phone starts going off. Phone starts nonstop. At first, she was ignoring the calls, but the caller was relentless. The caller was relentless. So she answered, and she's talking to the person on the other end of the phone, and um, tensions started to rise. Her voice started to elevate. I can hear the aggression in her voice. I'm beginning to hear the other person on the phone, yelling. And based on her responses to what was being said, um, she had, I guess she was in the process of making a decision for her life, and um, the calls that she was getting from family members, they didn't agree with the decision she was about to make. So, and they were very vocal about it. She got a call from her mom. She got a call from her sister. She got a call from her spouse. Um, and I try my best to mind my business and not ask questions. But she's extremely upset. She's going through it, right? And all I can do is just do the job at hand that I'm there to do, right? And so she's yelling and she's screaming. She even popped up out of the chair. At one point when she was talking to her sister, she jumped up out of the chair and she's pacing around the room, and she's yelling to her voice, and she's like, this is my life and I can do what I want, and I'm sick of everybody trying to tell me what to do. And I kind of understand, because what we have to realize, whether we're the person who has to make the decision or we're watching other people make their decisions, whether we agree or disagree, at the end of the day, the decision belongs to the person that it affects the most. And it's the person who has to make the decision. Sometimes, even though we love somebody and we want the best for them, or we think we know what's best for them, it's not our choice. It's not our decision to make, and we have to live with whatever choice they make for themselves. You don't really get the right to tell somebody else how to live their life. Yes, say something, intervene if somebody's doing something or thinking about doing something that's going to cause them harm or cause harm to somebody else. But you know, if somebody's going to make a life decision, and in this case, she was deciding to leave a relationship, leave her relationship, and her family completely disagreed because they didn't think that she had a reason or the right to to leave this relationship. And she felt differently. She felt like it had run its course. She wasn't in love anymore, and she wanted out for whatever reason. I didn't ask questions, and I haven't known her for a very long time. She's kind of new to me. I'm kind of a new client, so we just recently started working together. So I don't have a full history of what her life looks like. So I don't know if her family. I don't know why her family felt so strongly about being so vocal about about her decision, or trying to convince her to not make that decision. But child, she when she her sister and her mom, I guess they were on three-way, at one point, and I'm hearing, I can hear, I kind of hear them yelling in the background, and her and the sister, they got into it, like they were going at it. Like I'm like, oh my god, like why does her sister feel so high strong about, why is her sister so invested in her relationship, right? I don't understand. But child, she popped up out of that chair and she said, shut the fuck up and let me live. And the entire room went silent. Like the voices on the phone was like, and, and it was the moment was so intense that all I could do was just kind of stand there, and so I just softly say it, because she's in tears by this time, like she's extremely upset. And so I say, I think it might be time that you shut out the noise. And she kind of, she looked at me and she just hung the phone up. And she set it down. And I told her to sit. I said, okay, take a seat. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to give me any explanations. Just sit for a minute and work through, breathe through what you're dealing right now. I handed her a bottle of water, handed her a few tissues, and I just let her sit there and recover from that moment. But when she said what she said, it did something to me, because one, she had reached her limit with, people telling her what to do. And then she finally stood up for herself by saying, shut the fuck up and let me live. Like sometimes people have to be told, back off and let people live. Like we cannot dictate to people how they should live their lives. Their choices are their choices, because guess who has to live with them? They have to live with their choices. So let people live. Sometimes you need to shut the fuck up. Let people live. When I get an update, you get an update. But if you want to, if you have stories to tell, and you want to learn how to cultivate a story, how to publish, how to write a script, make a film, I'm your girl. Join my academy, IBL Story to Screen Academy, and let's make some things happen. But yeah, when I get an update on this story, you get an update. Shut the fuck up. Let people live.